Hello viewers, I'm Ronn Grant coming to you live and direct from Tortola in the Virgin Islands. You're watching 284 Media. There has been so much going on across the region, and of course today we are jumping over the waters to Grenada. Kerryne Z. James, the Honorable Kerryne Z. James, is known to be a level-headed, calm and enthusiastic individual who can carry out any role professionally and effectively. Through her many years in service to her community and country, she has meaningfully contributed to team success through hard work, attention to detail, and excellent organizational skills. She is born in Guave in the parish of St. John, Grenada. She holds an associate's degree from the School of Arts, Science and Professional Studies and at the T.A. Mary Show Community College in Law, Geography and Sociology, and a bachelor's degree in Psychology from St. George's University. In 2018, she was appointed to the House of Senate, becoming the youngest senator in the history of Grenada and the Commonwealth of Nations. There, she was more instrumental in her quest for change by supporting and reviewing laws for the betterment of her peers and country. Today, she is the youngest elected member of parliament in the history of Grenada. At 24 years, she is the only female elected member for the winning NDC party. She now serves as the Minister for Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy. When we return, I will be discussing with the Honorable James her journey to this, of course, this position, and of course what she has in store for the people of Grenada. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
You value traditions.
Today,
You value music. You value education. Family.
I love you.
Service.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Love. Life. At Popular, we're committed to you and everything our community values. For the things you value the most, count on us. Popular.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Viewers, welcome back and thank you so much for sticking with us. You're watching 284 Media. As promised, I am joined by the Honorable Kerryne James out of Grenada. Of course, she is the newly elected representative for Guave, St. John's Parish, Guave, which is in St. John's Parish, and she is now the Minister for Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy. Honorable James, welcome to 284 Media. Thank you so much for your time and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Mr. Grant, and thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
It is an absolute pleasure. Now, when we look across the region, there has been a call for young leadership. Many persons throughout the region continue to make themselves available and avail themselves in numerous ways to serve the general public. Of course, that is not always supported because of the age. You, at 24 years, not only served in the Senate in 2018, but you are now the youngest elected official in the Parliament of Grenada, and you're now serving as minister. Before we get into all of your accomplishments, how did you even get into politics?
Interesting story. But as I always say, I grew up in a politically inclined household. We were politically socialized at a very early age. And so we grew, as my siblings and I, we grew to understanding what are some of the challenges our country and our constituency face, and ways in which we could, help the process of changing those challenges for the better. And so my interest in politics really stemmed from that. After I was able to make my own conscious decision and decide to put myself out there to be branded with a political party, I did so through seeing various laws and representatives coming time and time again every election cycle, offering the same thing in different words and not really for the benefit of the people. So as I advanced through my secondary school years, I knew that I had to, impact some way or the other how us as young people, how we view politics and how what role we play in actually changing the decision-making process in our country. And so when I went on to TAMCC, I became very active in political activism and so helping my community. And I decided to throw my support behind the National Democratic Congress, leading to me becoming a senator in 2018.
Amazing. Now, you mentioned that, of course, as a member of the constituents and someone who is a resident, being quite aware of the issues, you kept hearing the same thing, just in a different form from politicians. What makes you different from all the other representatives who have sought to represent St. John's?
Well, the obvious I would start is that I am young. Our population here in Grenada, almost 62% of our population is under the age of 35. And so
Okay.
what we saw happening over the last 10 and a half years is representation, policies, laws are being created, and there's a total disconnect between whom it is being created for. And so I believe that, having somebody within the same cohort, understanding almost really and truly feeling some of the challenges, feeling some of the social ills. And so, you are placed in a better position to help remedy the situation. So I would
Understood.
say my youthfulness and the technology that we have around us now has, impacted us in such a significant way that I still believe, us as a Caribbean nation, we have a lot more to go and grow through ICT.
Thank you for that. Now, having been born and raised in Guave, what are some of the issues within your constituency that you plan to attack as representative?
Well, first, agriculture, and I would go largely to the basis of fishing. Guave is known, well, once was known as the fishing capital of Grenada, and might I dare say the Caribbean.
Okay.
um, And over the years, we have lost our essence simply because there has not really been any significant support for fisher folks. Persons are now fishing out of, that is what they do for a living versus actually taking it as a serious business. There has been a complete breakdown in terms of how fishermen carry out um, their job as a business entity. So one of the main things for me, while I campaigned on it as well, and I will fulfill the promises, is to help the fishing sector. We have a crisis in Grenada whereby our catch, there is only one institution that really does exportation of fish, and it's a lucrative industry for us here in Grenada. It contributes significantly to our economic development and our GDP. But what we have realized, or what I have found, is that most of the fisher folks, they are not really educated in regards to the different quality of fish, the grades of fish, and the overall requirements for exportation. And so you would see that, they would go out at sea, have their catch, and most times only to be turned down because their catch doesn't meet the grade criteria or the quality standard as it should for the international market. So I think that our fisher folks, they need a lot of education with regards to that. Safety at sea training, boat building is another aspect of what we're looking into tapping into, and ensuring that our fisher folks have way more incentives to expand. Most of them have just the small fishing vessels, and they have been
Correct.
fishing for many years, and they could move on to small trawlers and eventually go on to large scale. And I believe that our current banking institution has not done them great justice in terms of letting them know that there are loans, grants available that they could expand their business and grow. So we have seen that as an urgent need to improve. Um, the safety at sea training as well too. It was brought to my attention by a number of fisher folks, that most times when they meet up with any difficulty at sea, often seek rescue from Venezuela. And so sometimes there's a disconnect between how do they ask for help. So we have seen the need to, offer them, train them basic foreign languages, particularly so Spanish, so that they may be more equipped when they go out there, so that we could have less injuries occurring at sea. Another aspect that I am looking forward to helping improve is our sporting and recreational activities within our communities. Um, my constituency, if there is any remnants of any community buildings or community centers, it is in a dilapidated state. And
Wow.
so, as a child growing up, I knew and understand significantly how having community centers has impacted my life and has allowed me to grow and to become who I am today. And some of us we take it for granted that while a few of us come from households where we can afford, there are others or the majority of our population they don't. And so if they don't have that level of support, simply put, the COVID-19 crisis has really shown us that we need to support our children because some of them they don't have light, they don't have internet, and we see how most of them, were left behind in the
Yes.
educational system because of that. And so, at some point in time, our community has to step up. And if we don't have these centers, and so, we already failing our children. So I think that, one of the almost next in line to agriculture and fishing for me would definitely be to improve our social aspect within our constituency, ensure that our community centers are turned into multi-purpose centers where applicable, help renovate others to accommodate the needs of the people. Because while we have a constituency as a whole, our constituency is broken up into nine polling divisions or nine pieces, right?
Okay.
And so, my me being on the campaign trail has really and truly exposed to me that while we are one unit, we are so different in the different communities, and so there are different needs of the people there. So we are trying our best to see if we can get more than two or three multi-purpose centers up and running so that our children can recreate in a safe environment and a productive one. Sports is another big aspect of ours. We have once, well, we have the first ever gold, silver, and bronze medalist, Olympic medalist. Big up to Kirani, wherever you're
Terrific.
at. We appreciate you. And we need more Kirani James coming out of our constituency and our tongue of Guav. We had a number of sporting clubs that were very active and instrumental in Kirani's sporting life. However, because of the deficiencies in terms of our playing fields and our main park in our constituency is not kept properly, that group, has suffered a terrible fate in terms of, helping our young upcoming athletes to train and master their craft. And so we need to also expand. We have a basketball team that is unique, the best in Grenada, Spaculas, and we need much more of that. What we have seen is that a number of the players on that particular team, they are almost close to retirement when we speak about sports. And what happens? Is it going to be another dinosaur, or are we supposed to be striving for longevity in our sporting arena? Or basketball courts,
Exactly.
we do have one that is good, but we need to improve not only the one that is centralized in the tongue, because that's an issue that I have grown to realize not only within the campaign season, but since my political activism and socialist as helping has really exposed that a number of the outer areas, those rural areas within our
Hmm.
constituency, they are left behind. Most of them can't even afford to take a bus. In some cases, there aren't public transportation for them to come down to recreate. And so, what do we forget about them too? No. So we are trying to see how best we can source funding to improve our sporting arenas outside of the town as well. Another aspect is our young people,
Hmm.
multi-talented in the creative industries such as the soca, the singing, the dancing, the performing arts on holistically. And there isn't our curriculum within the formal setting of our education system doesn't have really any room for them to really grow and advance as they should. And we have seen over the years how these industries, can make millionaires at an early age. and we need to grow and accommodate and help our children to advance and take advantage of the opportunities that are there in the new economy for them. And so we are looking at training for our young people so that they can, master their craft. We are
Okay.
also looking at continued support with regards to social development for our young mothers. They are suffering. We're not trying to make people be continuously dependent on government to live, but to really and truly give them the tools needed so that they can advance. So these are just
Wonderful.
some of the key areas that we'll be looking at within the first year or two in office.
Now, Honorable James, how long is your first term expected to last?
Until the next election cycle. We are due for an election 5 years.
Okay.
It has been customary that we do 4.5, but based on our results, we will be doing the full term. So 5 years.
Understood. I have to ask you because you are now the minister. You've been given the responsibility to be the Minister for Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy, which is also quite a hefty and important ministry.
Indeed.
Let's talk about that. But in addition to that, being a representative for your constituency and coupled with the responsibility of Minister for the varying responsibilities that I just listed, how do you plan on making sure that you're giving equal attention to both the constituency and the ministry?
Well, I would say, we tend to always say life is a balance, and so you have to balance both. But you all know the reality is that most time something suffers along the way. But I am first a member of parliament, the representative for my constituency. Had it not been for them, I would not have been here today actually sitting in a ministry. So I owe it to them to be a best representative for them at first. Our governmental system and administration is designed in a way whereby there are technocrats that will do the day-to-day runnings of our ministries. However, we are there to guide policies and ensure that whatever we agree upon as a ministry and as an administration, that they are executed and executed well. So my role within the ministry, it's not only me alone that is carrying that portfolio, but I am relying on the other technocrats and so to ensure that we do a good job done for our country and the constituency. We have our days. I am in the field every day. It is hectic, but that is why I got into it, because I am bringing my youthful exuberance and my my bottle full of energy to it, and I'm hoping that I continue to stay humble and grounded and always find time to be in my constituency outside of having a designated day for Constituency Day.
Now you're approaching your second week in office. How has the first week and a half been?
It has been rough, rough, rough. Words can't even explain. My first day in office didn't end up in office really. Was a part of a vehicular accident. Thank God for life. It wasn't fatal or no
Thank God
significant
for that,
injuries
yes.
per se. Thank God for that. So I'm still a little bit shooken up about it. But over the past few days, I have been better, and the days have been better. The transition has been very smooth. At first, I was a little bit nervous, as you said, Mr. Grant. The portfolio is a heavy one, very
Yes.
heavy. It is actually a senior ministry, and you're giving quote unquote a young person.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that as young people, we have what it takes to get the job done. It requires a lot of reading. Energy, for instance, renewable energy, that is a field that is completely new to me, but I have to get abreast with what the department or the division has been doing and see how best we could use technology to advance and make it work. And as I said, it is not easy, but I have the support of my staff, and I am willing and ready and more than prepared to go the extra mile in ensuring that I am ready to make sure that they are doing the right thing for our country.
Well, Honorable James, I do wish you continued success. Now, when the news officially broke and my agency, shared the publication and the story with the general public, And as you are aware, the critics are definitely out there. There are those who say that age equals to maturity, it equals to competence. There was a particular individual that commented, and I want to use this story as an example because all across the region, this is not just in Grenada or in the BVI, this gentleman said, this is not a beauty pageant. What can she possibly do and accomplish at 24 years? When you hear the critics and the persons that say, and first of all, before I continue, the beautiful thing about your story is that you were elected at the polls. So the people have placed confidence in you. But what do you say to the persons all across the region who are continuously telling young people that they are not competent, they should wait, and because of their age, they don't think that they're right for the job? What do you say to those critics?
Well, first, I would say clearly we are doing something that they didn't dare to do when they were our age. And so the time has changed. And, we have to grow and adapt and realize that over the past few years, they have failed us. And if we continue to tell our young people that they have to wait, when when will it be our chance to ensure that we actually impact in a positive way our decision making? At the end of the day, you are putting policies, you are putting laws in place to reflect that of your society. And if there is a disconnect, if you are not open and new, it means therefore that you have failed us, and we have to improve. We have to go through the system. And to say that it is not a beauty pageant, that is something that I always say to people, being young and being a woman, sometimes it's a blessing most times, and it's a curse.
Right.
Women has for centuries have been going through the worst, particularly so in the political arena, to finally now being able to substantively represent themselves and the rest of society in a meaningful way within these forums and settings. And we just have to just continue to stay grounded and ensure that we are in it for the right reasons and to prove them wrong. And, if they feel as though we are incompetent, it means that they have to look at themselves. Because as a leader, you are supposed to help impact and nurture other leaders. So if you think that we are incapable, it means that you have never taken the time out to teach anybody anything. So I would say that insecurity lies within themselves, and it should not in no way, shape, or form, discourage any young person who is willing to take up any leadership role within politics. It could be within the church, within your community, wheresoever. We are the ones that will
Yep.
inherit this land after they have gone. And so we have to ensure that we stick together and that we are genuine and that we really and truly want to make an impact. It is our lives that will be in jeopardy, not theirs. They have lived this. Most of them are living with regrets of the things that they did not do or they couldn't do because of choices that they made. And we shouldn't let they live, through us or help us not live the life that we're supposed to live. So I would say to any other young person, we do not know everything on our own as well. We need the experience of those who have been there before, who have walked the walk. And history tells us if you don't know your history, you are doomed to repeat it. But we have to ensure that we study them well and we take the good things and we leave the bad things out the window.
I could not agree with you more. Of course, you mentioned, and I'm so happy you mentioned the gender disparities that we continue to face. Of course, you are the only female in sitting on the government administration under the NDC, and you also mentioned about some of those challenges that you have faced and perhaps will continue to face, unfortunately, as a woman. But luckily enough, let's just remind the people that you won't be young forever. You will continue to age every day as the years continue to
Every
pass.
day.
So with that, the issue won't be that you're 24 years. It might be another issue that they're taking up with you, but it won't be your age for all the time. So soon enough, we'll get rid of that narrative. I have to speak about the entire NDC. Quite a victory at the polls. Once we continue to look at the elections, of course, we continue to monitor it. We realize the overwhelming support that the people of Grenada have placed in the NDC, of course, with the Honorable Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell. He is also a very young Prime Minister. What do you say to the general public in regards to the NDC moving forward? Because obviously you have aligned with this party for a specific reason. When you look at your administration and your colleagues moving forward, what would you say to the people in regards to what is expected of you moving forward as an administration, and of course putting your confidence in the Honorable Mitchell?
Well, I have been with the National Democratic Congress Party for just shy of 7 years. And
Wow.
I have seen how our party, has suffered during the last campaign, the last election, 2018. Um, you know, it was rough. The campaign itself, that's another story, but to see where we were to know where we are at, I am a proud member. And I know that all of our members and supporters, and those that we were able to win over in this election cycle, they are proud too as to how far we have come as an opposition party. We are a party that is over 30 plus years established, and we have really and truly fought. The people of Grenada lost their confidence, and that is something that we don't always talk about, because most times people don't like to talk about the bad. But I always say you talk about the bad because you get to appreciate the win more when you understand where you came from. And so, to see our Prime Minister, Deacon Mitchell, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, just came on scene on board with the party as a full-fledged member in 6 months, trying to rebuild the party literally from scratch, and to come now and win 9 seats in 3 months after the date for election was called. I think we deserve to be in the Guinness books because it has not been easy. It has not been easy, I'm telling you. And I am right now I'm fumbling for words to put together because whenever I think about what Grenadians need to help them really and truly tap into their potentials. And when I see the struggle that we did as young people, we placed everything on the line 2018. We were victimized. Most of us were out of work. There was no income coming in. And we kept to our party because we believed in the ideologies and principles of the institution. We understood what Grenada needed. And the people was not yet there on that wavelength with us to understand that they need and deserve better for themselves. And so to see where we are at now, and we are bringing such a transformative agenda for our economy, ensuring that there isn't any segregation occurring within our sectors and structures of our society, ensuring that industrial actions are lessened down over the months to come, and just ensuring that we have a renewed sense of hope, a breath of fresh air for our young people to actually grow. It is touching to me, and I'm telling you, the Grenadian people, they felt for our narrative. It was clean, it was real, it was identical. They could have identified with the message. It was simple, it touched home, and they knew that what they were getting for 10 and a half years was not good enough. And so they have placed the best. And I can assure you, under our Honorable Deacon Mitchell's leadership, Grenada will return on the map in the Caribbean.
And there is no doubt about that. Honorable James, I want to first of all thank you for this opportunity. I want to thank you for your conversation. Secondly, my Caribbean sister, we are so proud of you. We are so immensely proud of you, and we wish you continued success, continued safety as you execute your duties as a Minister for Climate Resilience, the Environment, and Renewable Energy. It is a tall order, but I think your success, not only in being in the Senate, but now being elected to Parliament, speaks volumes to a generation that has for so long been told that they are not enough, they're not worthy, and they should wait their place. They should wait for their time. Well, my sister, the time is now, and you have clearly exemplified that at the polls. We wish you nothing but continued success. Of course, we'll continue to keep in touch with you on the happenings as you progress, but I am delighted, and I know that you will do a good job. So thank you so much, and I know that the residents in residents in the BVI who are from Grenada are also really proud. So I trust that they enjoyed your conversation, and I want to thank you once again.
Thank you so very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
You're most welcome. Viewers, that is all the time we have. We were joined by the Honorable Kerryne James, who is the newly elected Minister for Climate Resilience, the Environment and Renewable Energy. She's also the representative for St. John's Parish in Grenada. She's originally from Guave, of course. That is who she's represented, and the people of Guave and St. John's were the ones that elected her to the Parliament. So, of course, we'll keep you posted on the happenings over there. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye-bye.